Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Darlington Nkwasi. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a simple window with WxPython. I already have my virtual environment created here and turned on. I also have a folder here for my icon. This icon is what we're going to use for, this image here is what we're going to use for the window icon. Okay, and I have my file here, main.py, and this is where we're going to um, write the code. Okay, so to create a window in WxPython, of course, we have to first install WxPython. I've already done that. So what I'm going to do now is just import it. So I'll just say import wx. That's how we import WxPython. Okay, I'll come down here and define the window class. I'll say class, then I'll call it main window, and I'll say wix.frame. Okay. In WxPython, a frame is a window whose size and position can be changed. You know, they often can be changed. You can also create things like menu bars and stuff. All right, um, so I'll just come down here and initialize the class. So I'll say def init, and I'll say self. And to allow the class to access the methods and properties of um, the frame, I'll say super dot init, and this has to take a parameter. If I don't give it a parameter, it might not work. You might not see the window. Okay, so I'll say parent is equal to none. All right, and then I'll come down here and say if this is a top level Python script. That's if name is equal to main, create an application object. That's app is equal to wx app. And then I'll say UI is equal to main window to create the window instance. Then I'll say UI dot show to show the window. So this is supposed to be a full stop. Okay. And I'll say app dot main loop to start the event handling loop. And this should work now. So if I save it, and run it by doing python main.py, okay, there's an error here. So this is supposed to be a capital letter show. Okay, so I'm going to save it and run it again. And now you can see the window here. Okay. So I was saying that you have to put a parameter here. If you don't put a parameter here, it might not work. So for example, let's say I take this off and save it and run it. You see nothing shows, okay? But if I restore it, you can see the window now, okay? So just try to just ensure that you put parameters here so that it works the way it's supposed to work. So I can add other parameters. I could say title should be create your first window. All right. If I save it and run it, you can see the title here. Okay, you can see the title here. I could also add another parameter. I could say I could give it a size. So I could say size is equal to 800 by 600. Okay, and now if I save it and run it again, you can see the size has increased. Okay, and notice that I can expand it. Okay, and I can also reduce it. All right, so our code is working. Let's give it another parameter. So we could say style. The style should be Wix dot default frame style. Okay, so if I save this now and run it again, you can't see any change because even if you don't put it, remember we are choosing the default style. Okay, so even if you don't put that, it's going to show the default style. Okay, so I'm going to cancel this. Let's see what else we could do. We could come down here and center it. So we could say self.center. If we save this and run it again, you can see it's now at the center of the screen. Okay, we could also make it transparent. Okay, but before we make it transparent, we have to be sure that our system supports transparency. So to do that, we'll just say print self.scan set transparent. Okay, this is supposed to return a boolean, whether true or false. So if I save it and run it, at the bottom of my screen here, you can see true. Okay, look at where my cursor is. You can see true. So that means our system supports transparency. So I'm going to cancel that. And now we can just comment this out and we can come here and say self dot set transparent. Okay, and this should be, let's say this should be 128. This actually ranges from 0 to 255. I think 0 means that the window is very transparent, while 255 means that the window is very opaque. So if you set it at 0, you might not see the window at all. So let's just try that. So if we say this should be, let's not make it 0, let's make it 1. So if I save this and run it, you can almost not see it. I think it's somewhere around here. You can almost not see it, but I've cancelled it. So let's make it a bit more opaque. So if I save this and run it again, you can see something around here. If I cancel it and let's increase it to 20 or 30. If I save it and run it again, you can see that it's becoming clearer. If I change this to let's say 70, okay, and I run it, you can see it's becoming clearer. So let's make this 128. So if I save this now and run it, you can see um that it has improved. Okay. The highest, like I said, is 255. So if I make this 255, save it and run it, you can see it's now very opaque. Okay. So this is the highest that it can go. Um, what we'll do now is um give this a background color. So say self dot set background color. Okay. And let's say this should be blue. Okay, so if I save it and run it, you can see it's now blue. Okay, so what we're going to do now is give this window an icon. So I'll just cancel this and I'll come here and say self dot set icon, and this will be Wix icon, and this takes two parameters: a string, which is usually the image path, okay, and the image type. It takes other parameters, but will only work with these two. All right, so here I'm going to add the image path. This is where the image is. Okay, so I'll say I'll just type it out. Okay, so this is the image path. All right. So now I'm going to add the image type. The format for this image is .png. So I'll just come here and say wix dot bitmap type, and I'll say this should be PNG. Okay, so now I'm going to save it and run it. Okay, so now you can see the icon here. So this is basically how to create a window in WxPython. Thanks and see you next time.